Welcome back to Investigate TV.
Just ahead, you won't find it in the dairy aisle of your local supermarket, but Iowans can now legally buy and sell unpasteurized milk. Plus, local artists are wanted to help bring a special mural to life in Northwest Rochester, and this could be a message of hope for many. And as we try to keep our cool this week, we aren't the only ones dealing with some extreme heat. Your News at Noon starts now.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good afternoon, I'm Jess Abrahamson. It is good to be with you again after some time away. First at noon, this is a big day at the Olmsted County Fair. The Midway opens to carnival goers at 5 p.m. and country singer Jana Kramer will be performing live with 6 Mile Grove tonight. Local officials say they want to make sure everyone has a fun and safe experience this year. They're reminding people to be prepared for the weather and to never leave your children unattended. To prevent any type of violence, there are cameras and security guards all over the fairgrounds. The Olmsted County Fair president says this festival has had incidents in the past where fights have broken out among teens.
Just remain cognizant of your surroundings. If you observe anything that's suspicious or disorderly behavior, please notify either a fair board member or a member of law enforcement so that we can deal with that quickly.
Also a good reminder to stay hydrated and cool while enjoying the fair this year. Extreme weather is being felt all across the country. The record-shattering heat wave in the U.S. continues to spread to major cities across the Midwest and the Northeast. NBC's Maggie Vespa has more from Minneapolis.
Rare to be talking about extreme heat in Minneapolis, a place obviously known for bone-chilling cold. But this week, lakeside beaches like this one are expected to be packed as people try to escape near triple-digit and potentially record-breaking temperatures. This is, of course, kind of the leading edge of the same heat wave that has been baking the Southwest for weeks on end, having dangerous, if not deadly, results, particularly in Phoenix. Doctors say they are treating 2 to 3 times more patients from heat-related illnesses than they do in a typical summer, adding a lot of patients now are showing up with what they call third-degree, in their words, potentially life-threatening burns just from contact with the ground. And then also overnight, NBC confirming that a mountain biker outside San Diego died of heat-related illness after he tried to help dehydrated hikers in the area. That was a young, fit guy in his 20s. Proof experts say that anyone can be overcome by this heat, again, with potentially dangerous results. Back here in Minneapolis, the high is expected to hit 97 tomorrow, just shy of the daily record of 100 degrees. And more broadly, amid our climate crisis, experts say Earth is on track to experience its hottest July ever and quite possibly its hottest single month of any month ever recorded. Of course, scientists say this is expected to get much worse unless humans make drastic changes. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Minneapolis.
So let's talk about all of this with meteorologist Ted Schmidt. He is joining us now from out on our weather patio. And Ted, our weather team has called first alert days for tomorrow and Thursday because of the extreme heat we are anticipating. And today we are working our way there.
Yeah, today will be close to 90 already. We're in the mid 80s. So we have an afternoon of sunshine still ahead of us, at least to some extent. We're going to see cloud cover slowly trickle in ahead of a storm system. Eventually will bring us a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity maybe later tonight. Not necessarily a heavy rainfall, but maybe a couple of scattered storms and maybe a couple of strong storms may happen just after midnight. But right now, a quiet, very warm and humid midday hours. We look southward down Vandal Road with our Lewiston auto camera. It's 85. Feels like 87. The winds for the south, 7 miles per hour. Air pressure slowly falling. Temperatures across the map, low and mid 80s. At the airport, officially 85 in Rochester. Owatonna, 86. Mason City, 85. And 85 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We have just a few very thin clouds nearby, but mainly sunny skies all across the region. We're tracking some showers and some clouds come in for the west for the tail end of the afternoon and evening. Later tonight, a couple of thunderstorms will be possible. Level 1 risk for most of the area after midnight until about 9 a.m. tomorrow. Some hail and some strong wind gusts will be possible. The latest from the Storm Prediction Center, and something similar may happen again late Thursday ahead of the cold front that will bring an end to this heat wave. Allergy report moderate for trees trees, grasses, and mold, but dust is still very high. And UV index 8 in the scale of 1 to 10. So, of course, if you're heading out to the fair, if you're heading outside to do some yard work, you'll want to slather on the sunscreen because it's going to be one of those days. Look for a high temperature well above the seasonal average. Already we're in that category. 80s is the 30-year climate average. We're already warmer than that, and look for highs around 89 today. Chance of thunderstorms tonight. Next couple of days feature a shot at 90, Jess. We haven't done it officially this year, but I think we have a pretty good chance of it happening this week. We'll have full forecast details in a few minutes.
Thank you, Ted. And with extreme heat ahead, some local residents might need to find a safe place to keep cool. Rochester Public Transit is offering free rides to people who need refuge from extreme heat when there is a heat advisory in place. All you have to do is let the RPT driver know you're looking for a cool place to be, and no fare will be charged. The Rochester City Council has voted to move forward with a special election to renew the local sales tax. Their vote means in the fall, residents will decide whether to extend the 0.5% sales tax and invest $205 million in multiple projects. Money would go to street projects, flood control, water quality initiatives, local economic support, and a new regional sports complex. Local sales tax has been utilized in Rochester since it was first approved by voters in 1983. Rochester Mayor Kim Norton did veto this question because so many projects were included in it. She thought voters should be able to choose specifically where the sales tax would go. So in the coming weeks, the city of Rochester will provide residents with more information about where that money would be used. A website will also be created to help educate residents. We have an update on the situation at Rochester Towers. It's been a long summer for residents after they were evacuated from their homes on June 2nd, when the management company became concerned about unsafe structural issues. Well, many of the residents were able to go back home earlier this month after weeks of scrambling to try to find somewhere else to live. Now the engineering team is providing more details on repairs and potential costs for residents. Costs are based on the repairs that have to be made. Officials won't have an exact amount until mid-August, and that will be presented to the board. During the next couple of weeks, residents can also expect to see crews coming into their complex to determine what repairs need to be made. Engineers do plan to give more updates on Friday. Kids and families are back in the water in Mason City today. The Mason City Family Aquatics Center reopened at 9 this morning after it temporarily closed due to several lifeguard certifications being revoked. According to the city, the American Red Cross determined that the lifeguard instructor failed to deliver the class in accordance with all applicable lifeguard training requirements for certification. Due to that error in training, the American Red Cross revoked staff lifeguard certifications given by that instructor. Every single lifeguard since has taken the course again and passed. So swimming lessons, family and lap swim, and open swim are all able to resume today. At this hour, we are learning about how law enforcement is preparing for August 1st, when recreational cannabis becomes legal in Minnesota. The State Patrol, DNR, and Department of Public Safety are hosting a news conference about their efforts to prepare for more impaired drivers out on the roads and on the water. And Zach Fuller is monitoring this news conference and joins us with more on this story. Hi, Zach.
Yeah, Jess, you mentioned it. It becomes legal on August 1st, and the State Patrol and DNR are preparing for the potential of increased traffic violations of operating motor vehicles under the influence of especially cannabis when it does become legal here in about a week. And currently they are talking, this is the scene right now, holding a press conference detailing initiatives that they have and will be continuing to have starting August 1st when it becomes legal. Now, this is one of the big things that many county sheriffs were against legalizing cannabis for was because they say that it would take a lot more training and a lot better technology to really indicate if a driver is under the influence of drugs while operating a motor vehicle. So we haven't heard much from State Patrol or the DNR really when it comes to this. So they're outlining their plans of how they plan to combat it. come August 1st when it does become legal again. So we'll have that full press conference coming up on KTTC News Now on both our Facebook page and our live stream, Jess.
A lot of questions here about how to keep people safe with a big change just around the corner. Thank you, Zach. The Zumbro Valley Health Center is looking for an artist to finish a big art project. The center, which is located at the intersection of 7th Street and 11th Avenue Northwest, wants to create an original mural on the east wall of their new facility. The mural will represent Zumbro Valley Health Center's goal, and that's to restore hope one life at a time. Applicants must provide a brief biography, 3 to 5 examples of their work, and a sketch and description of their proposed mural. Applications need to be submitted on Threshold Art's website by August 20th. The selected artist is going to work together with a team of Zumbro Valley Health Center staff, Threshold Arts, and community stakeholders to create the final design. It's not coming to a dairy aisle near you, but it is now legal to buy and sell unpasteurized milk in the state of Iowa. We're going to take you there for more on a new law and what this means for consumers and farmers. That's next. This summer, consumers in Iowa have a new option for purchasing their dairy products. It's now legal to buy raw or unpasteurized milk, along with cheese, ice cream, and yogurt. Larry Goodwin reports.
There is a group of folks out there that feel that unpasteurized milk is a good way to go, a good thing to have.
Farm owner John Maxwell says there is some demand for raw milk after a new law allowing the sale of it is now in effect in Iowa. But he says there are also some safety concerns to consider.
All milk that you buy in the store is pasteurized, and that pasteurization eliminates all the bacteria that are in it at that time when it does that. And so the safety part is the bacteria could be harmful before the pasteurization.
Maxwell says the law gives people another option for dairy products without taking away from their overall goal.
Overall, it gives them another opportunity for the consumer to buy a product that they would want and they would want out there. And after all, the farmer's goal is to feed the world. And so however we go about that is trying to be accomplished.
Maxwell says this could be a great thing, especially for certain farmers in the area.
This creates another opportunity for those folks out there, and I know there's dairymen. There's a dairyman by the name of Bill Norton out there by Wilton that it was great for him because he's a small dairy that wants to have that niche.
All right, let's talk about the weather now as we're headed into a heat wave. Here's
Temperatures looking particularly warm today and get even hotter over the next couple of days before we see some changes in our weather. We're also looking at maybe a couple of rounds of thunderstorms this week. The latest in your 7-day forecast is coming up after our Tuesday market report.
Missed part of our newscast? KTTC has you covered.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
Maybe make that gallon of sun tea and make sure your fan is working. We're heading into a heat wave, Ted.
Getting even warmer, Jess said. Probably the warmest stretch of weather we're going to have all year. We have not hit 90 this year. It hit several times last year, but so far this year, very close a few times, but temperatures just shy of that. There's time lapse this morning, some beautiful sunshine. We have a little bit of haze still in the distance, part of some of those smoky plumes from wildfires in Canada. More of an issue has been the case certainly on the Wisconsin side of the river, so some interesting coloring this morning. But now blue sky, the rule as we move through the midday, just a little haze at the distance, but a bright and pleasant, quiet day from Signal Hill. That's our Lewiston Auto photo camera at the studio. Blue sky overhead. We're waiting for high clouds to the west and eventually maybe a few showers. An area of low pressure to the west generating showers and thunderstorms. Some of those will migrate into our area later tonight, impact the overnight hours, and maybe another round with a cold front that comes in later this week, eventually bringing an end to this heat wave. But ahead of that, the warmth that continues to build at this point. 83 in Rochester, Sioux Falls 89 right now. It's 90 in Morris, at 82 in Wausau, Wisconsin. Some sunshine. It's 83 in Rochester, on our way to the upper 80s, maybe just shy of 90, I think, this afternoon. Later on, Winona 86, Mason City 85 in our area. We have the dew point of 70, one of the highest dew point levels we've had so far. We're going to be in that range for the next couple of days, all the way from now until about Thursday, before that cold front moves through and shaves off a couple degrees and brings some slightly less humid air back to the area. But it's certainly going to be building a steamy setup for us. It feels like 87 already. That heat index factored in. There's a term we're going to be using a time or two, to say the least, over the next few days. Heat indices 90 to 100 over the next couple of days, all the way through Thursday, and then isolated storms through Friday. There'll be off and on rain chances in store for us. Tomorrow, that's a first alert day, and Thursday will also be one. 91, the high temperature expected tomorrow, but heat index levels well above 90, and looking at that throughout the afternoon tomorrow. And we're all going to be dealing with a little bit of extra heat. And the heat index forecast for the next couple of days, low 90s today. We'll see the upper 90s tomorrow. Thursday, hottest day of the year, mid-90s. Heat index around 101, and then Friday we start slowly shaving off a little bit of that heat. As a cold front moves through, we'll have a couple rounds of thunderstorms perhaps during the day, and eventually the weekend looking a little more seasonable. In other words, not as hot, but just good old-fashioned typical mid or late summer warmth. Now here's future track. High clouds coming in from the west. We see spotty showers as develop around 7:30, 8 o'clock, maybe just a handful of those. Better chance of rain really arrives after midnight. Showers and thunderstorms from midnight into the wee hours of the morning. The most widespread cluster of activity may happen just before the morning commute. And then we dry things out with clearing skies, a lot of warm sun, a hint of a west and northwest breeze. Daytime temperatures tomorrow in the low 90s. A few more thunderstorms to the west look to hold off until maybe late Thursday. But tonight's rain chances, very small chance in the late evening. Best chances just before sunrise tomorrow. And then we dry things out by mid-morning and really build the heat with that sunshine. Level 1 risk from the Storm Prediction Center for severe weather late tonight, midnight to 9 a.m. Best chance maybe 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning, maybe just a couple of hail-producing storms. And looking at severe weather outlook for Thursday evening, again, level 1 risk again. Perhaps the evening hours still kind of very far out, though, at this point to really narrow it down to specifics. But there's a chance of storms late Thursday into Friday morning, maybe another rumble of thunder or two during the day on Friday as that front moves through. The weekend looking quiet behind that with a small chance of rain on Monday of next week. High temperatures typically this time of the year end up around 80, but we're looking at 89 in Rochester, 90 in Winona, 88 Mason City, some sunshine, and a few thin clouds thickening. We'll have that light breeze with us and heat indices low 90s. Mid-90s for highs on Thursday, and slowly edging our way back down to more typical levels over the weekend. 89 today. Some sunshine and a few clouds drifting in from the west. Warm and humid with heat index levels in low 90s. 68 tonight. Some thunderstorms well after midnight. Mostly cloudy. And tomorrow a couple of storms early. Then some sunshine. A high of 91. A light southwest breeze. 7-day forecast. We have those thunderstorm chances again tomorrow morning. And then maybe late Thursday, parts of Friday. And of course those first alert days tomorrow and Thursday. We're just talking about the heat index level. That will be problematic and maybe dangerous if you're not prepared for it. It's going to feel like it's 90 to 100, maybe just a little above 100 in a few spots Thursday afternoon.
Okay, toasty couple of days ahead here.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And Jess, yeah, you were traveling somewhere where it's warm but not quite as steamy as this.
It was actually much more refreshing where my husband and I were at last week. We were in Fiji, an early celebration for our 20th anniversary, which is actually in December. But Ted wanted to see some pictures again because you can't have too many photos of the South Pacific. This was the resort where we stayed at. We enjoyed some traditional entertainment there and some fire dancing and some beautiful sunsets. This is the Blue Lagoon. We took, after a few nights at a resort, we took a 5-day, 4-night cruise on a very small boat into the Blue Lagoon, and we could get into some remote coves and some spectacular beaches. So there's my husband and I. This is where the famous movie with Brooke Shields was filmed, and we did some swimming in the cave that was featured in the movie. It was just awesome. We were a group of about 60, mostly people from Australia and New Zealand on that boat. And we have some other photos here that we can show you as well. Just Amazing. This was one of the islands we stopped at during our cruise. We actually visited a local school on this island where a bunch of kids from other islands go. And this was fun. The day we arrived, it was a little bit rainy out. So our cab driver said, instead of going to the resort, how about I take you to the thermal spa in the mountains? And they had all these different pools of water and different temperatures. And so we did that on our first day. It was a nice, relaxing way to start the trip. So there's a little sneak peek at what I was up to last week.
You mentioned mountains. I wasn't even thinking about the topography changes, but you got to go up the mountains and you were in lagoons and all sorts of things and thermal spas. A lot of cool things to do there.
I know it's a bucket list place for a lot of people. So if you're dreaming about going to Fiji, make it happen. It's a beautiful place.
It's very nice.
And
welcome back, though.
It's good to be back with you, Ted. I missed you.
I missed you too, Jess.
Yes, and I have a Fiji coaster for you.
Oh my goodness, that's cool.
I'll give it to you a little later.
Gift. Wow.
Yeah, for your homebrew, you can put it on there and pretend you're in Fiji.
Yeah, I pretend.
All right, thank you, Ted. When it comes to artificial intelligence, one thing is certain, and that's all of the uncertainties and fears people have, especially when it comes to the future of their own jobs. We'll be right back. Artificial intelligence is already having a major impact on the labor force, and several indicators show more drastic changes could be ahead. So, which industries are already being disrupted, and why could women be impacted the most? Cole Higgins takes a closer look.
Is artificial intelligence coming for your job? There are growing signs that AI is already disrupting the global workforce, and experts say it's just the beginning.
There are people who will learn to use AI, and they will take your job because they will become significantly more productive than you will be if you're not able to partner with an AI model.
Goldman Sachs economist predicting 300 million full-time jobs could be affected by the latest wave of AI, which has created platforms like ChatGPT. And a new analysis estimates nearly 80% of women could be disproportionately affected by the adoption of AI. That's compared to 58% of working men, according to research from the University of North Carolina.
The world has changed. These are new tools. You can't fear them. You just have to learn to use them.
All that is already impacting nearly every industry, from art and music, where AI-generated songs are more affordable since there's no producer, composer, or artist to pay.
It's taken away opportunity from songwriters, producers, and artists, right? So the people are trying to feed them for their families.
The manufacturing sector also seen an impact. And then there's fast food, where AI is ready to take your order.
Classic or bacon barbecue mother cruncher.
Places like this Checkers restaurant in Iowa are already using AI for their drive-through window.
Whatever the guest says, it will react to that. It's crazy. And they'll just start a conversation.
It's a lot to think about. Well, just ahead, Howard has an idea to keep our kitchens comfortable during a hot week.
Summers are hot, but lucky for us, one of our favorite kitchen appliances helps us keep our kitchen cool. We'll tell you all about it coming up next. When I talk to many of you, I often hear how much you love your slow cookers, especially during the summer, and so do I. After all, nothing beats cooking all day long without heating up our kitchens. So let me share a comforting dinner idea that you can make as soon as tonight. We begin by placing a 3 to 4 pound chuck roast in a slow cooker. Next, we combine some beef broth, soy sauce, and a few off-the-shelf spices. Now we pour this over the roast, and all that's left to do is cover it, set it to low, and let it do its thing. After it's fork tender, we take it out, place it on a board, and shred it with a couple of forks. Like this. Now you can use the meat however you'd like, but my favorite way is to serve it stuffed in crusty rolls with all the pan drippings. Does this look good or what? And it couldn't get any simpler. When you dunk this into the rich beef broth or spoon the broth over it, be ready for a flavor-packed bite that may get a bit messy, but all in a good way. To get the recipe for our slow cooker French dip sandwiches, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a tasty slow cooked way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Oh, that does look really good right now. And Ted, we're going to be looking for those simple ways to keep our kitchens cooler in the coming days.
Yeah, not a lot of baking, I suppose, this time of the year, this week anyways. It'll be a little on the warm side for that. So something simple, something kind of cool, not a bad idea. Or maybe do the grilling outside in the open air with a breeze, something like that. Pretty warm day today, just a little hint of a breeze developing now, but certainly more wind than I have felt out here so far today. I like this little breeze is stirring the air because it is definitely feeling very warm out here on the pavement in the warm sun without any shade. That's current view from our Lewiston auto camera. Feels like 89 right now in the weather patio, 87 the temperature, the wind now 7 miles per hour, gusting a little higher. It just had a little gust there, maybe a little stronger than 10 miles per hour, I think. 83 at the airport this hour in Rochester. Winona 86, it's 88 in Owatonna, and Mason City now 85, and we are tracking blue sky on radar, but there are some showers and thunderstorms to our west. A few high clouds will drift in ahead of that maybe late this afternoon, and we'll eventually have our own rain chances here late tonight, maybe very early tomorrow. Severe weather risk still level 1 out of 5 in the Storm Prediction Center's scale. That happens after midnight and wraps up just before the morning commute tomorrow. So don't be surprised if you're awakened by a rumble of thunder, and there's a chance of maybe some hail and some gusty winds, and otherwise just a few passing thunderstorms. Forecast for the rest of today, some sunshine, a few thin clouds, just a hint of a south breeze. 89 the high temperature. Is going to feel like it's the low 90s later today. Ted's Trivia, what is a mud puppy? It's one of these 4 guys below, 4 options below. And we'll have that answer in just a few minutes, Jess.
Okay, I thought maybe it was a dessert or something.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that, yeah.
Thanks, Ted. Some area farms are being recognized for the dedication and hard work of generations of family members. First, we are taking you to the Olmsted County Fair, where the miracle of birth is on display to amaze all who stop by. We'll be right back. There is a lot of fun to check out at the Olmsted County Fair. The Miracle of Birth Center is one of the top spots, and this is an opportunity to learn about different farm animals and even witness a live birth. So from watching live chicks hatch to witnessing cows give birth, the Miracle of Birth Center is a great place to learn about farm animals and just to marvel at the beginning of new life with chicks, pigs, cows, and even goats. This center has it all, and our Cammie Raisler checked it out.
What can we find in the Miracle of Birth Center?
Lots of babies, hopefully throughout their week. So our goal is that we can have everything give birth that we have to give birth here, and so we can learn about what's today's agriculture is happening.
The Miracle of Birth Center is open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. through Saturday right at the Olmsted County Fairgrounds. Some local farms are being recognized by the state fair as the ag industry is seeing fewer people enter the field becoming farmers. Minnesota's making an effort to acknowledge people we rely on for our food. The State Fair and the Minnesota Farm Bureau recognize 3 farms as century and sesquicentennial farms, and this is to honor families committed to preserving their land. 2 farms won the Century Award: Arsvold Acres in Casson, that's been around since 1923, and LMC Farms in Manorville, in operation since 1896. And the sesquicentennial honor goes to Rich and Sue Olive of Manorville, and their farm has been going strong since 1873. Wow, congratulations, an incredible commitment. Attacks on grain storage in war-torn Ukraine continue, and that is creating issues elsewhere. Here's our Ag Day Minute with the latest.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Russia appears to be expanding its attack on Ukrainian grain warehouses, this time striking port infrastructure on the Danube River. The river, an alternative export route that's critical for Ukraine after Russia ended the Black Sea grain deal last week. Now that news pushing up global wheat and corn futures on Monday. The Ukrainian army says a hangar with grain was destroyed while storage tanks for other types of cargo were damaged. What state uses the most renewable diesel? Well, according to oilprices.com, it's California. In fact, it says the state uses almost all of the renewable diesel produced in the U.S. Demand has jumped since the state's low-carbon fuel standard went into effect back in 2011. Renewable diesel is made from fats and oils such as soybean oil or canola oil and is processed to be chemically the same as petroleum diesel. And an entire community in Willacy County, Texas is searching for a missing rodeo goat nicknamed Willie. The crafty critter escaped the pens at a youth rodeo and has now been missing for more than a week. Residents are using horses, ATVs, and there's talks of calling in a helicopter to find him. Even local businesses are getting on board, donating prizes and gifts to anyone who finds the goat. Now, the one good thing, the search has led to hundreds of dollars in donations to help improve facilities at the rodeo. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or anytime at agweb.com.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
A lot of sunshine happening right now. We're cruising toward the upper 80s. Some spots may touch 90, but it's going to feel like the 90s. Humidity really beginning to build into the area as we look outside with some of our Lewis Donato cameras. Not many clouds around, a little bit of haze, but really a bright and cheery day. And boy, certainly one that makes you want to go find a pool or something like that, because it is a warm one. We are watching some showers and thunderstorms ahead of low pressure to our northwest. Some of those will try to sneak into our weather picture later tonight. Out of that, maybe just a few high clouds will move in, but right now it's a sunny picture to kick off this Tuesday afternoon. 83 in Rochester is one of the cool spots of the map. Red Wing only 88 this hour. Winona 86. It's 86 in Osage. And Forest City, Iowa, 86 is just a gentle breeze. Trying to stir the air. The dew point 70, though. It feels like 87 in factor in that dew point with that heat index. And we're going to have heat index levels in the 90s today in most spots, up to 100, maybe a little higher than 100 by Thursday in some spots. Storm chances, they'll be around, some tonight, and some perhaps by Thursday and maybe parts of Friday. So we'll be tracking that. First alert day, yes, it's hot enough for that type of thing to be talked about. Tomorrow and Thursday, both first alert days, because of the intense heat, it's going to be something we're just not used to. And so we're talking heat index levels approaching double to triple digits later on, the 90s to around 100, and the entire area tomorrow and also Thursday in that first alert, weather alert. Looking at heat index levels in upper 90s tomorrow, 101 by Thursday afternoon. Temperature itself 95, not a record, but not too far from it. And temperatures by the weekend back to the 80s, still warm, but not as warm as the mid part of the week. Now, future track today, some sunshine, just a gentle breeze, high clouds coming in, slight chance of a shower or two. That happens around 7 or 8 o'clock. But really, I think what we're looking at is better chance of showers and storms moving in after midnight. Just before sunrise, we start to see a cluster of storms, maybe 1 or 2 strong storms, a small risk of severe weather with hail and gusty winds from that. And then tomorrow, a pretty quiet day, a lot of warm sunshine, heat index levels in the 90s, and a couple of thunderstorms to our west try to sneak in for parts of Thursday evening, more than likely holding off until the tail end of the day, and heat will build in the meantime, though. Rain chances tonight very much on the sparse side of the spectrum until after midnight, maybe just a handful of thunderstorms just before or up until about sunrise tomorrow. Severe weather risk 1 out of 5 in the Storm Prediction Center outlook for midnight tonight until 9 a.m., but the best chance around 4 or 5 in the morning with hail and some gusty winds. So don't be alarmed if you hear some thunder, but hopefully not severe weather. Break from severe weather chances tomorrow until more of that comes in late Thursday. It could be evening and overnight into Friday. Level 1 risk again from the Storm Prediction Center for Thursday time frame. Parts of Friday also dealing with some storms in the weekend. And a cold front, not as hot and a little quieter for a couple of days. Certainly could use the rain, but I guess we'll get a break from severe chances, if nothing else, over the weekend. 89 today in Rochester, 88 Mason City. Sunshine, a few high clouds drifting in late in the afternoon. Temperature outlook for the next 10 days, very hot at first, but next week, a long stretch of seasonable weather. That's what we had last week. We go back to that for the upcoming week, 70s and low 80s. 89 today, some warm, humid weather, feeling like the 90s, some sun and a few thin clouds. Thunderstorms late tonight, mostly cloudy, 68. And tomorrow, some sunshine after those morning thunderstorms happening until the end of the morning commute. Then we'll dry things out with a light breeze and heat index levels in the mid-90s. Heat index around 100 or maybe a little higher than that on Thursday. And then again, 70s and low 80s for the weekend and the days that follow. Ted's Trivia, what is a mud puppy?
A mud puppy. Not a muddy puppy, a mud puppy. Is it? Oh, I want to say it's one of the first two. So I'm going to go with... is it an otter?
It's actually a salamander.
Oh,
amphibians,
okay.
and they like to live in the mud and water areas.
Okay.
They're really cute. I saw one in a couple of them in the last couple of years in some of the very humid nights that come out in the dark, and you see them like crawling around. But they're very rare. I've only seen them twice.
Okay.
But it was really cool. I had to look it up. I'm like, is that a salamander? It is. Cool.
A little friend for you on your way to work.
The dogs wanted to play with them, but nah, maybe not. Maybe later.
Thank you, Ted. Just ahead, strike averted. UPS has reached a contract with 340,000 unionized workers. The details on that just ahead.
Join us for Midwest Access.
UPS and the Teamsters Union have reached a tentative deal on a new contract. Today, UPS announced it has reached a contract with 340,000 unionized workers, and they're going to potentially dodge a disastrous strike that would have disrupted logistics nationwide for businesses and households alike. UPS has put $30 billion of new money on the table because of these negotiations. The details of the tentative agreement have not yet been made public. The Justice Department says Texas violated federal law by installing a 1,000-foot floating barrier in the Rio Grande River without authorization. Governor Abbott remains defiant, accusing President Biden of trying to hamper his efforts to secure the state's border. NBC's Priscilla Thompson has more on all of this from Eagle Pass, Texas.
Yeah, no court date has been set yet, but already this is shaping up to be quite the legal battle. On one hand, you have the DOJ accusing Texas Governor Greg Abbott of being in violation of federal law by placing this 1,000-foot buoy in the water. The DOJ saying that he did not get proper authorization from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers before putting it there. On the other hand, you have a defiant Governor Abbott saying that Texas has a constitutional right to defend its border and accusing the Biden administration of trying to hamper his efforts to secure the border. And just to give you a sense of what it's like here, this buoy is about the length of 3 football fields, meaning that migrants are having to walk further and into deeper water in order to come across. And then when they do, they are reaching an embankment that the governor has covered in razor wire. There's also wire fencing, as you see behind me. And so it is quite the journey that the buoys are causing. And as for what comes next in this lawsuit, at this hour, the DOJ has not filed for an injunction, meaning for now, the buoys will stay in the water. Priscilla Thompson, NBC News, Eagle Pass, Texas.
Something new and most unexpected is coming to the candy aisle. It may have you wondering, what about ketchup? More on that next.
If you're thinking of fixing your broken AC yourself,
Well, how's this for dessert after your lunch today? A new flavor is joining the Skittles Rainbow. The candy has partnered with French's to make a new tangy mustard flavored Skittle. Yes, mustard flavored. The collaboration is in celebration of National Mustard Day. That's coming up on August 5th, 1 week from Saturday. The new Skittles only going to be available, though, at French's Mustard Mobile, which will be in select cities. It's making stops in Atlanta on July 31st, Washington on August 2nd, and New York on August 5th, the big day. Fans can also enter an online sweepstakes for a chance to win a package of mustard flavored Skittles, so you could share them with all your coworkers. And
yeah, I put it in my candy dish, put it out there, let everybody try some.
Yeah, it would be a talker for sure. You think you'd like them?
Maybe. It would be fun to try, just for fun. But I don't know that I'd go out of my way to find them.
You might have a yellow tongue afterwards. Yikes. Thanks so much for spending some time with us today, and keep cool out there.